The film opens with a glimpse into the life of Hamad, a driven and ambitious man who holds a leadership position in his father's company in Kuwait. For the past 3 years, Hamad has poured his heart and soul into securing a lucrative dealership project with a German company. Just as he is in the middle of a crucial meeting with his team, his father's secretary delivers unexpected news. Hamad's project is being put on hold. The announcement leaves him stunned and scrambling for answers. In the end, Hamad is instructed to contact his father directly if he wishes to salvage the project. The story shifts to Noor, a spirited fitness instructor with a firm belief in the strength and independence of women. Noor refuses to let men perceive women as fragile or weak. She holds a deep distrust of men in general, with the exception of her boyfriend, Youssef, whom she loves dearly. That afternoon, Youssef breaks the news to Noor that he must travel to Beirut for a 6-week work assignment. Noor is reluctant to be apart for so long, but Youssef reassures her, promising that he will miss her terribly. Meanwhile, Hamad confronts his father to demand an explanation for the project's suspension. At that moment, his father delivers a shocking ultimatum. The project will remain on hold until Hamad marries and has a child. His father explains that he needs an heir to inherit the family's vast fortune and business empire. Hearing this, Hamad resists, arguing that marriage is a doomed endeavor. Unmoved, his father threatens to cancel the project entirely and donate the family's wealth to charity if Hamad fails to comply. He gives Hamad 1 month to marry and demands proof that his new wife is pregnant. Only then will Hamad be entitled to his inheritance and control of the company. Meanwhile, Noor receives devastating news from her friend Alma that Youssef has married someone else in Beirut. Noor is in disbelief, refusing to accept the wedding photos Alma sends as evidence. She clings to the memory of Youssef's love and his promise that his trip to Beirut was solely for work. But Alma insists that the truth is undeniable. Youssef is now another woman's husband. To make matters worse, the woman he married is Aisia, a former schoolmate of Noor's. At that moment, Alma urges Noor to stay calm and not waste her tears on Youssef. She even suggests that Noor is partly to blame for not agreeing to an engagement sooner. However, Noor is not heartbroken. She is furious. She vows to make Youssef regret his betrayal. Within a week, she plans to marry another man, ensuring that Youssef will be the one left in tears, realizing too late the mistake he made by losing a woman like her. On the other hand, Hamad is seen desperate to secure his inheritance and save his company. He then turns to his best friend, Mehmed, for help. At that moment, Hamad asks Mehmed to find him a woman willing to marry him within the week. Of course, Mehmed is overwhelmed by the task at hand. Finding a woman willing to marry on such short notice is no easy feat. Meanwhile, Noor is equally determined to make Youssef regret his betrayal. She asks Alma to find her a man who is ready to marry her quickly, just to spite Youssef. Alma, however, is equally stressed, as she doesn't know any men who are prepared to take such a drastic step. Coincidentally, Alma and Mehmed are married, and both are now deeply troubled by the demands of their friends. Alma confides in Mehmed about Noor's situation, how her boyfriend left her to marry someone else, and how she now needs to find Noor a suitable match. Upon hearing this, Mehmed breaks into a wide smile. The next day, Alma shows Noor a photo of the man she has in mind for her, Hamad. Noor bursts into laughter, convinced that Alma is joking. The man in the photo appears old-fashioned and socially awkward, completely mismatched with her modern and independent personality. But Alma is serious. Similarly, when Mehmed shows Hamad a photo of Noor, Hamad protests. He sees the woman in the picture as someone who comes with too much baggage. However, Mehmed reassures him, explaining that Noor comes from a respectable and well-educated family. She is also a close friend of his wife, Alma. At that moment, Mehmed urges Hamad to at least consider meeting her, while Alma delivers the same message to Noor. Eventually, the two agree to meet at the city library. Noor disguises herself as a modest, book-loving woman, while Hamad dresses casually, as Mehmed had advised him that Noor prefers confident, dashing men. After a brief conversation, both Noor and Hamad call their respective matchmakers, expressing their dissatisfaction with the arrangement. They feel utterly incompatible with the person they've been paired with. Frustrated, Mehmed and Alma suggest calling off the marriage, but warn that the consequences will be theirs to bear. Unwilling to lose his father's fortune, Hamad reluctantly proposes to Noor, and to his surprise, she accepts. In no time, the two are married. However, their union is not built on love, but on mutual convenience. After the wedding ceremony, Noor's mother accidentally runs into Hamad's aunt. To their shock, the two women recognize each other. It turns out they share a past connection, and there is a strong possibility that Hamad and Noor might be milk siblings. If this is true, their marriage would be forbidden. Meanwhile, Noor convinces Hamad to go on their honeymoon in Beirut, specifically at the luxurious Kdrama Hotel, perched on a mountaintop. She chooses this location because Alma mentioned that Youssef is honeymooning there. It was revealed that Noor's plan is to flaunt her newfound happiness with Hamad in front of Youssef, making him regret his decision. As Hamad heads to the hotel, his aunt repeatedly tries to call him, but he ignores her calls. Upon arriving at the hotel, Hamad begins the check-in process while Noor wanders off, determined to find Youssef. When she spots him, Noor immediately puts on a show of affection with Hamad, hoping to make Youssef jealous. Hamad, however, is utterly confused by Noor's sudden and unusual behavior. Once they reach their room, Hamad tries to approach Noor, but she quickly retreats to the bathroom. Inside, Noor calls Alma, panicking about what to do next. She has no intention of letting Hamad get too close to her. Meanwhile, Hamad calls Mehmed, confessing that he can't bring himself to be intimate with a woman he doesn't love. At that moment, Mehmed reminds him of the stakes. Hamad must father a child to secure his inheritance. On the other hand, Alma advises Noor to play along and be kind to Hamad. She even suggests that Noor dress seductively and flirt with him, but if she's uncomfortable, she can always use the classic excuse of a headache. Back in the room, Hamad sets the mood with romantic music, candles, and cologne, determined to make their honeymoon night go smoothly. Not forgetting the practicalities, Hamad also takes a stamina-boosting supplement. Just then, his aunt calls again, urgently warning him not to touch Noor. She reveals that there's a possibility they might be milk siblings. Years ago, when Noor was a baby, her mother often left her in the care of Hamad's family. It's highly likely that Hamad's mother breastfed Noor, making their relationship forbidden. Shocked by this revelation, Hamad immediately considers divorcing Noor and returning to Kuwait. However, his aunt urges him to wait until she can confirm the truth. Moments later, Noor emerges from the bathroom, pretending to flirt with him. Hamad, now terrified of crossing a line, is relieved when Noor suddenly claims to have a headache. He quickly encourages her to rest, and their first night together ends without any intimacy. The next morning, Noor asks Alma to check Youssef's and Aizia's Instagram posts. She wants to confirm whether Youssef is really staying at the Kdrama Hotel. During breakfast, Noor is too distracted by her phone to pay attention to Hamad's attempts at conversation. She soon learns that Youssef plans to visit a nightclub that evening. Instantly, Noor suggests they go out that night to enjoy their honeymoon. Hamad declines, preferring to stay in and rest, but Noor insists. Reluctantly, Hamad agrees, and that night, they find themselves at a bustling nightclub. That night, Noor's sole purpose is to make Youssef burn with jealousy. However, the plan backfires. Instead of Youssef feeling envious, it's Noor who is consumed by jealousy as she watches Youssef and Aizia dancing closely together. Meanwhile, Hamad calls Mehmed, urgently asking him to find another woman for him to marry. He explains that he cannot bring himself to be intimate with Noor. Shortly after, his aunt calls again, but she still hasn't been able to confirm the truth about their possible familial connection. She promises to have more information by the next day, leaving Hamad deeply frustrated. As he returns to the club, he notices a man flirting with Noor. In a flash, Hamad steps in and confronts the man. However, the situation quickly escalates, and Hamad finds himself overpowered. To his surprise, it's Noor who steps in and effortlessly takes down the man with what appears to be ninja-like moves. Hamad ends up injured in the scuffle, but he's more shocked by Noor's unexpected skills. Noor casually warns him not to worry about her in the future, as she's more than capable of handling herself. That night, she insists that Hamad rest, and once again, their night passes without any intimacy. The next morning, Hamad is startled by Noor's angry shouts from the bathroom. She's furious because he left the toilet seat up after using it and didn't close the toothpaste tube properly. Hamad, not one to back down, fires back, criticizing Noor for leaving her clothes scattered around the room. Their argument is interrupted only when a hotel staff member arrives, diffusing the tension. Later, Hamad approaches the receptionist with an unusual request. He asks for a schedule of exhausting activities to tire himself and Noor out, hoping they'll sleep for 2 days straight. The receptionist is baffled, joking whether this is a honeymoon or military training. Nevertheless, he recommends a strenuous mountain hike, which is scheduled for the following day. For today, he suggests they spend time outside the hotel to wear Noor out. However, things don't go as planned. Noor, who is used to rigorous physical activity, thoroughly enjoys the outdoor adventures. Meanwhile, Hamad, who is far less accustomed to such exertion, struggles to keep up. By the end of the day, it's Hamad who is completely drained, while Noor remains energetic. That evening, Hamad's aunt calls again, but she still hasn't been able to provide clarity about their possible familial ties. Hamad is left with no choice but to wait further. As he steps into the bathroom to make another call, Noor, who is suffering from a headache, spots a bottle of pills in the drawer. Assuming it's pain medication, she takes one. Moments later, Hamad emerges from the bathroom and is horrified to see Noor holding the bottle. It turns out that the pills Noor took were male stamina supplements, intended to enhance performance in the bedroom. Terrified of the potential consequences, Hamad locks himself in the bathroom. Sure enough, shortly after consuming the supplement, Noor begins to feel overwhelmed by a surge of energy. To burn it off, she heads to the hotel garden to exercise vigorously. Exhausted from overexertion, Noor eventually collapses and faints. When she regains consciousness, the effects of the supplement are still lingering, leaving her feeling restless and overheated. The doctor who examines her is baffled, suspecting that Noor has taken the wrong medication. As the doctor prepares to leave, Hamad quietly explains outside the room that his wife accidentally consumed his male supplements. The doctor advises Hamad to avoid any mischief with his wife that night, assuring him that Noor will be back to normal by morning. The next day, Hamad calls Mim to update him on the events with Noor. He expresses admiration for Noor's strength and resilience. Hamad also asks Mim to assist his aunt in tracking down the woman who cared for Noor during her childhood, hoping to finally clarify their possible familial connection. Meanwhile, Noor tells Alma how Hamad stayed by her side all night, taking care of her when she fell ill. It seems the two are beginning to develop feelings for each other, though neither is ready to admit it. The next morning, Noor is secretly impressed when she hears Hamad playing the piano beautifully. However, too proud to show it, she instead scolds him again about the toilet seat. Their planned activity for the day is a mountain hike. Noor is full of energy, showing no signs of fatigue, while Hamad, who rarely exercises, struggles to keep up. That evening, they camp on the mountain, sitting by a bonfire. Noor then asks Hamad to share stories about his childhood. He reveals that his mother passed away when he was young, and it was she who taught him to play the piano. Every time he plays, it reminds him of her. Hamad admits he's always been a solitary person. As they talk, the two grow noticeably closer, their bond deepening under the starlit sky. The next day, Hamad receives the news he's been waiting for. His aunt confirms that Noor is not his milk sibling. They are not related in any way, and there is no barrier to their relationship. Overjoyed, Hamad rushes back to their room, only to find Noor fast asleep. The following morning, while exercising, Noor gets a call from Alma, who has finally located Yusef's hotel. Noor immediately runs back to her room, eager to plan her next move. When she arrives, she's surprised to find the room filled with flowers. Unbeknownst to her, Hamad has prepared this romantic gesture as part of his plan to finally spend the night together as a married couple. Noor is terrified. She's not ready to take the next step in their marriage and be intimate with Hamad. At that moment, Noor tells Hamad honestly that she appreciates everything he's done for her, but she confesses that her heart hasn't felt at ease since they arrived at the hotel. Noor suggests they move to a beachside hotel instead, claiming it would make her more comfortable. In reality, her request is a ploy to get closer to Yusef, who she knows is staying nearby. Soon after relocating, Noor finally comes face to face with Yusuf and his wife, Aisha. Following her initial plan, Noor introduces Hamad as her husband, putting on a show of affection to make Yusuf jealous. After successfully stirring up Yusuf's emotions, he invites Noor and Hamad to Aisha's birthday party. Hamad declines, but Noor insists on attending, determined to keep up appearances. Before the party, Noor struggles to hide her heartbreak, painfully aware that Yusuf now belongs to someone else. That evening, Noor tries on multiple outfits, unable to find one that feels right for the occasion. Meanwhile, Hamad suggests they skip the party and spend a quiet evening together, finally enjoying their long-delayed honeymoon. But Noor is adamant about going, using the excuse that they've already committed to the invitation. Deep down, however, her only goal is to see Yusuf again. At the party, they endure Aisha's lengthy stories, growing increasingly bored. When Aisha excuses herself to the restroom, Noor seizes the opportunity to flaunt her closeness with Hamad in front of Yusuf. Curious, Yusuf asks how the two of them met. Caught off guard, Hamad and Noor stumble over their words, unable to come up with a convincing story. When Hamad steps away to take a phone call, Yusuf confesses to Noor that his marriage to Aisha was arranged by their families. He admits he still loves Noor and believes she feels the same way. Yusuf even claims to know that her marriage to Hamad is nothing more than a charade. He pleads with Noor to come back to him, but she refuses. Noor calls Yusuf selfish and heartless, accusing him of lacking any sense of responsibility or conscience. Just then, Hamad returns and suggests they leave the party. As they prepare to go, Yusuf invites them to join him on a boat trip the next day. Both Noor and Hamad firmly decline. Back at the hotel, Noor breaks down in tears, overwhelmed by the emotional turmoil of the evening. She thanks Hamad for his kindness and support, genuinely touched by his actions. That night, as Hamad encourages Noor to rest, his aunt calls with troubling news. There's a possibility that Hamad and Noor might indeed be milk siblings after all. The source of this information, however, is an elderly woman suffering from dementia, making her account unreliable. At that moment, Hamad's aunt insists on tracking down their former housemaid to confirm the truth. Frustrated and emotional, Hamad lashes out, tired of the endless waiting and uncertainty. In the end, Hamad decides to sleep on the beach, needing space to clear his mind. The next morning, Noor finds Hamad and asks about their plans for the day. Coincidentally, Yusuf and Aisha arrive, inviting them to join a boat trip. Hamad quickly agrees, eager to avoid spending time alone with Noor. On the boat, Yusuf suggests they go fishing, and Hamad reluctantly joins him. However, things take an unexpected turn when Noor accidentally falls into the sea. Instead of helping, Yusuf laughs at her predicament. Fortunately, Hamad acts swiftly, jumping in to rescue Noor before she drowns. That evening, as Noor sits lost in thought, Yusuf approaches her, attempting to badmouth Hamad. But Noor stops him, refusing to let Yusuf compare himself to Hamad. She firmly states that Hamad is far better than Yusuf could ever be. Noor is furious, recalling how Yusuf laughed instead of helping her when she fell into the water. Yusuf tries to apologize, claiming he forgot she couldn't swim. He confesses that he still loves her and begs for forgiveness. But Noor has had enough. In a moment of defiance, she throws her drink on Yusuf, drenching his clothes. Back at the hotel, Noor takes the necklace Yusuf once gave her and flushes it down the toilet. She's done holding on to memories of him and refuses to let him occupy her thoughts any longer. That night, Hamad invites Noor to attend a party hosted by the hotel. During the event, Hamad receives the news he's been waiting for. Noor is not his milk sibling. His mother never breastfed her when they were children. Overjoyed, Hamad feels a weight lift off his shoulders. The next day, Hamad calls Mem to share his happiness. He expresses his desire to come clean to Noor about the true nature of their marriage. However, Mem advises against it, fearing that Noor will be furious if she learns Hamad married her solely for his inheritance. Meanwhile, at a restaurant, Yusuf, still feeling guilty, tries to chase after Noor to make amends. Their conversation is overheard by Aisha, who has also discovered the history between Yusef and Noor through Instagram comments. Furious, Aisha confronts Noor in her hotel room. She accuses Noor of trying to steal her husband and threatens to ruin her life if she crosses any boundaries. Unbeknownst to them, Hamad overhears the entire confrontation. Shocked and disheartened, he throws the cake he had brought for Noor into the trash, his emotions in turmoil. Noor could only cry, overwhelmed by guilt as she reflected on everything she had done. Meanwhile, Hamad was consumed by a deep sense of turmoil. Just when he had started to feel comfortable with Noor, he discovered that she had been using him all along. Heartbroken, Noor called Alma, confessing her regret for how she had treated Hamad. She admitted that Hamad was a good man who didn't deserve to be treated this way. Noor couldn't even forgive herself for what she had done. Now, Hamad hadn't returned to the hotel, and Noor couldn't reach him. Alma, however, reminded Noor that if she felt guilty for using Hamad, she was mistaken. After all, Hamad had also used Noor. Confused, Noor asked Alma to explain. After hearing Alma's explanation, Noor's guilt turned into anger. She immediately began packing her things, ready to return to Kuwait. When Hamad finally returned to the hotel room, Noor confronted him, furious about the secrets he had kept from her. Hamad, equally angry, fired back, accusing Noor of lying to him. Their argument escalated, and in the heat of the moment, Noor demanded that Hamad divorce her. Without hesitation, Hamad agreed and immediately divorced her. But just as the words left his mouth, Hamad's aunt and Noor's mother arrived. They were shocked to find the newlyweds in the middle of a heated argument. They had come to check on the couple, expecting to see happiness, but instead found chaos. In front of his aunt and mother-in-law, Hamad coldly finalized the divorce. Back in Kuwait, Noor deleted all the photos of Hamad from their honeymoon, trying to erase the memories. Meanwhile, Hamad struggled to focus on his daily routine. He felt empty, as though something important was missing from his life. Elsewhere, Noor channeled her anger into physical exertion, punching a bag to release her frustration. At that moment, Yusef showed up, trying to sweet-talk her and apologize. He even offered to divorce Aisha if Noor asked him to. But Noor didn't care. She had moved on from Yusef. At the office, Hamad's father encouraged him to stay strong. He revealed plans to arrange Hamad's marriage to his cousin Miriam. Later, during a meal with Alma and Mehmed, Hamad couldn't stop talking about Noor. Mehmed grew tired of hearing her name and finally snapped, telling Hamad that if he truly loved Noor, he should go back to her. However, Hamad was still hurt. He couldn't get over the fact that Noor had used him to make Yusef jealous. Alma interjected, correcting Hamad's misunderstanding. She explained that after their honeymoon, Yusef had repeatedly tried to win Noor back, but she had refused him every time. Alma often saw Noor crying alone, heartbroken over the mess she had created. In a swift turn of events, Noor meets Alma and reveals her decision to move to Beirut for work. This decision comes after Aisha spreads rumors labeling Noor as a homewrecker, causing people to view her with disdain. At that moment, Alma urges Noor to reconsider, but Noor's mind is made up. She asks Alma to keep her departure a secret from everyone. Meanwhile, Hamad reluctantly follows his father's wishes and meets Miriam's family to discuss their arranged marriage. In Beirut, Noor starts a new chapter of her life, working as a fitness instructor at the very hotel where she and Hamad had stayed during their honeymoon. As Hamad and Miriam prepare for their wedding, Hamad overhears Miriam on the phone. To his surprise, he learns that Miriam is also being forced into this marriage by her parents and already has someone she loves. Realizing they are both in the same predicament, Hamad and Miriam agree to call off the wedding. With a newfound sense of clarity, Hamad decides to follow his heart. Armed with information from Alma, he travels to Beirut to find Noor. At that moment, Noor is stunned to see Hamad in Beirut, especially since she believes today is supposed to be his wedding day with Miriam. Hamad approaches Noor and confesses that he once believed nothing could scare him, but when she left, he realized he was terrified of losing the most beautiful thing in his life. For Hamad, Noor brought color and meaning to his existence. She was the first person who made him feel truly alive. Noor's heart races as Hamad asks her to come back to him. To her surprise, Hamad isn't alone. He has brought his family with him, and they all urge Noor to accept his proposal. However, Noor is hesitant. She's afraid of being hurt again and tells Hamad that a simple proposal isn't enough. Hamad, unwilling to wait any longer, asks Noor to marry him right then and there. Noor finally agrees, but with one condition. After using the toilet, he must always put the seat down. Hamad agrees without hesitation, and the two share a laugh. With their hearts finally aligned, they embrace their future together. Moral lesson from the story: if you rush into marriage to prove a point or secure an inheritance, you might end up hiking mountains and accidentally taking performance pills. But in the end, love is worth more than a toilet seat argument or a fake honeymoon.